Remember when electronics stores sold more than just smartphones and smartphone accessories? Such was the case with the Sharper Image, and this was one of their products, the Travel Soother. It looks like a little portable alarm clock radio, and it is an alarm clock, but instead of the radio, it plays a set of 20 soothing sounds to help you relax and fall asleep. On the front it has an LCD, several buttons for controlling it, a 1 3/4 inch built-in speaker, a few more buttons on the top, a wrist strap for carrying it. On the side is a headphone output and the 4.5 volt DC input, and on the back is the battery compartment. It also originally came with a vinyl pouch and a pair of earbuds, but I found this one at a thrift store, so it didn't come with those accessories. It's the Sharper Image Design Travel Soother 20, and I know that looks like it says model 51601, but it's actually model SI601. It runs on 3 AA batteries or 4.5 volt DC adapter, and it was made sometime in the early to mid 2000s in China. Its liquid crystal display has a blue backlight to help you see it in the dark, although that ironically tends to make it a little bit less visible if it's already in a well-lit environment. But nonetheless, it shows the current time, and the secondary display can be set to show the current date. A dual time display, for example, you can set this to show the time of your travel destination if it's in a different time zone, the current temperature, and the time you set the alarm to. And yes, you can also have the temperature display in Celsius. And you can also set it to show the time in 24-hour mode. And there is the alarm buzzer. It starts out quiet and gradually gets louder. Until you eventually either push the snooze button or turn it off. The snooze is 10 minutes, but if you push the button again, you can set it to 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And you can also set the alarm to the sound of church bells instead of the beeper. So let's hear what that sounds like. Well, that doesn't sound like a very realistic church bell to me. You can tell it's just a short sample repeated instead of a longer, more realistic sounding sample. Now we can turn it on and listen to the soothing sounds it has to offer. First is city. Then roadside. Steam train. Ebb tide. Foghorns. Dockside. Oceanside. Surf's up. Rain. Seems like a lot of water-related sounds on this thing. And that continues with brook. And Yosemite Falls. Then rainforest. Northwoods. Thunderstorm. Everglades, Fireside, wind chimes, summer night, aviary, heartbeat, that one's kind of quiet, and back to city. It does have adjustable volume. Can get quite loud when you turn it up. It also has a timer which can be set to 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, or 120 minutes, giving you up to 2 hours to fall asleep, after which it will automatically turn off. Conspicuous by its absence is any kind of white noise generator, but there was another variant of this model with the same model number, which replaced the roadside sound setting with white noise. The way to tell the difference is that the updated version of the SI601 with the white noise feature has chrome buttons instead of black and a much brighter LCD backlight. Although the sounds it produces were only recorded in mono and at a rather low sampling rate, when you plug in a pair of stereo headphones, it will play the sound through both channels. However, they will be out of phase, which is definitely rather disconcerting to listen to. It is possible the original earbuds it came with were wired to compensate for that and restore the proper phase, but not having them, I don't know for sure. If you do want to use it with a conventional pair of stereo headphones or earbuds, luckily an inexpensive 3.5mm mono to stereo adapter will restore the proper phase and make it much more pleasant to listen to. I recorded about a minute of each of the sounds into the computer, and just by looking at the waveforms it's pretty easy to tell where most of them repeat. The shortest one is heartbeat, which repeats at almost exactly a 1 second interval, and the longest one is roadside, which lasts for 32 seconds between repeats. And unfortunately, it's that repetition of the sounds which tends to make their novelty quickly wear off. For example, on the thunderstorm sound, you hear the same exact crash of thunder repeated about every 17 seconds. The Sharper Image has sold a wide range of sound soother products over the years, some of which appear to date back to the late 1970s and look more like a guitar effects pedal than a sleep aid, and even some which you can still buy new today on a website which resurrected the Sharper Image name after the original company went bankrupt in 2008. Speaking of which, found at another thrift store just as I was wrapping up this video is the Sharper Image designed portable CD soother model SI785, featuring not only an AM/FM radio but also a very dusty CD player. The CD soother has the same selection of 20 sounds as the travel soother, except for the aforementioned substitution of white noise in lieu of the roadside sound, and a complimentary set of 6 Duraleak batteries which expired in March 2016. And hidden underneath them is a pair of CR2032 coin cells, which are also totally dead but did not leak, so this thing sure is battery hungry. It was made in November 2003. It advertises trademarked aluminum cone driver technology, but if you look through that speaker grill, that rubber surround is completely shot, just like what happens to the speakers in Apple iMac computers from the same era. And that's just as well, because even with a new set of batteries installed, aside from the clock, I can't get the damn thing to work. So while I actually kind of like the little travel soother, the CD soother is probably not worth bothering with, even though it looks like a cross between an oversized Discman and a pop station.